On this episode of the Rocklopedia Fakebandica, we celebrate the greatest movie sequel ever by talking about angelic and demonic fake bands. Huh? And if we need help, we'll call for famed symbologist Robert Langdon, of course, right? It's angels and demons! And this is the Rocklopedia Fakebandica. Welcome to the Rocklopedia Fakebandica. I'm Charles. There's Alan.
Hello.
There's T-Mike.
Greetings.
And over here are our good pals Jason Torchinsky and Galen Black. Boys, say hello to the best podcast audience in the world.
Hey, best podcast audience in the world.
Hey.
Come on,
How are you
man.
guys?
Give us a little bit more love to
Yeah,
these guys.
Rocklopedia Fakebandica fans.
Let me tell you something.
hear you.
I am honored to be here with you guys. You're the best.
Thank
Best.
you.
Thank you.
All right, I know we have a big fun show tonight because it's our crazy Angels and Demons party happening right now.
Yeah.
First, we have any news we need to cover.
Not that I know of.
No.
I will say that because T-Mike apologized to Canada last,
Yeah.
our numbers went up 50% in
Whoa,
Canada.
very nice.
They
I'm
jumped.
I'm sorry again. Can we get more numbers?
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
I will also say that after calling out North Carolina, that, you know, because we were number 2 to
Right.
Oregon, North Carolina has reclaimed the top position.
Whoa.
North Carolina is once again the top state for the Rocklopedia Fakebandica, followed by Oregon. And I do want to welcome to the top 10 of our states, Idaho.
Oh.
Wow.
Idaho is now number 10.
How many
Wow.
people are listening in Idaho?
Thousands.
That's what I
Thousands
figured.
and thousands. You know, it's gauche to tell your numbers, your podcast
Yeah.
You're right.
numbers. It's, okay. So as everyone knows, we are coming up on the 16th anniversary of the greatest movie sequel of all time. Talking, of course, about Angels and Demons, the 2009 follow-up to the Da Vinci Code. I mean, just thinking about Angels and Demons, I get excited. I mean, everything about it. But right now, you're telling me there's an actual conclave that's going to be happening to elect a new pope, which is what happens in the movie. I have goosebumps.
Wait. What happened to the Pope?
Oh, jeez.
Is he
No,
okay?
Mm.
The Pope's okay, right?
Later.
In a week or so, he'll
Yeah,
be
it'd be fine.
okay.
Yeah.
We still have the Coptic Pope. There's always
Okay.
a backup.
So one of our traditions with our Angels and Demons celebration is cosplay. And since the party's at my house, I get to pick first. And I picked Father Patrick McKenna, you know, the Carmelanga.
Ah, yeah.
right?
Very
I
nice.
get to
Yeah.
be Ewan McGregor. All right. So who are we dressed as? Alan, who are you?
I have Robert Langdon.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is the man, the myth, the legend. And your wig is amazing. It looks more realistic than Tom Hanks'
Well, thank
wig
you.
did.
You know, because of Party City going under, they were trying to sell me. All I could find online were the Saving Mr. Banks Walt Disney wig.
Oh, no. Don't
But
get that one.
I did find, luckily, like a pre-tariff Robert Langdon wig. It's only slightly damp, but it's
very nice.
It's nice.
Very nice.
yes.
T. Mike, what do you know? What are you dressed as?
Oh, I'm Commander Richter, the head of the Swiss Guard.
Oh, you know, that's a good look. That's
yeah.
a good look.
Thanks.
You know,
Very nice.
Jason, what are you dressed as tonight?
Oh, the God particle, the Higgs boson.
That is so cool. And look, it lights up.
Yeah,
and
lights
everything.
up. It's even got the same texture.
How did you design it? I can't,
That's
that
really
looks right out of
that's
the
amazing.
Did
really
you
looks
buy
really
it from
good.
from a show, like an auction or
No,
something?
it's real. I got a friend over at CERN, so it's an actual God particle. He loaned it to me. I got to have it back by 11.
Wait. Wait.
Don't rub it. It's
Have
you're
you
heating it up.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the movie? You're supposed to keep it cool, or it gets hot.
It's already getting pretty hot, to be honest.
that's
Yeah,
not
it's
good.
pretty hot. And I did not see the movie.
Oh,
Why is it lighting up like this?
okay.
Oh,
So
dear.
we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come
Wow.
back, we're gonna start the show. This
Ooh,
is-
there's a third light.
the Rocklopedia Fakebandica. Okay, we're back. And Jason, you were telling us about your costume,
Yeah, I'm a tourist at the Parthenon.
the Pantheon.
I don't care.
Okay. Galen, what are you dressed as?
Just generic priest.
Sure looks like it. Yeah, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
just like
Because
Generic
we wrote
priest.
this, when we wrote this, we didn't know you were coming.
yeah.
And then T-Mike invited you, and then it was just like, oh, okay, yeah.
And I like your generic priest outfit.
Yeah.
Generic priest.
Generic
Yeah.
priest. Like on
It
his
looks
off
good.
day when he's just wearing like
It's more
street clothes.
paisley than
It
I'm
looks
used to
good on
seeing
you.
on a priest.
Yeah. I was going to bring the, yeah.
Also,
But
what
Angels
priest
and
wears
Demons,
assless chaps?
we can all agree, one of the greatest sequels of all time. One thing wrong with the movie with respect to our podcast, there are no fake bands in the movie.
Are we sure?
The one
Yes.
flaw. That is
No.
the one flaw with the movie.
It is, absolutely.
Well, that's why we came up with this conceit that we love this stupid movie so much because it has angels and demons right in the title to go with the show.
Yeah.
And fun fact, this was supposed to be the Easter Monday show. But
I thought I made it clear I didn't care.
yeah, I know, as the Jewish guy, I know. But I thought rabbit bands would be more fun for Easter. And Charles said, hey, no big deal. I can come up with some shaky framework to get the angel and demon bands for their show. And no one will know it's made up.
You're drunk.
So,
No, he's right. It's just a sham. It's a charade. No one can see the priest collar I'm wearing anyway, and you guys didn't touch the caramel Legos I made for snacks. It's cool. Let's just start with the fake bands.
I guess, all right, we'll go. I guess first angel band. Isn't
Somebody
that-
can read these lines here. Hey, Mike, you say, okay, great, our first angel band is.
okay, great. Our first angel band is...
Way to go, T Mike.
I can't tell if you're mad at me. I can't judge social cues. Anyway, time to talk angel bands. Yeah. All right. So I just want to quickly mention John Triton, who we already covered in our metal exploitation episode. He was the front man of metal band Triton, and spoiler alert, turned out to be an actual angel, and he gets into a battle with Satan himself.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
The Halloween show. Go
Yes.
back and
Go back in that, yeah.
Go back to our catalog and find that one. Okay, so let's talk about, one of the, if you're doing about angels, you have Gabriel. Everybody talks about Gabriel with his
Right,
horn,
yeah, the
right?
horn.
So it's kind of easy to kind of trying to find Gabriel
Yeah.
entries. So you look at Cole Porter's Anything Goes.
1934, yeah.
His musical, there's a song called Blow Gabriel Blow. And let's listen to Ethel Merman's 1947 rendition.
Come on and blow, Gabriel, blow. Come on and blow, Gabriel, blow. I want to join your happy band and play all day in the promised land. So blow, Gabriel,
All right. So
Yeah.
you get the Angel Gabriel is hot on the horn, has a swinging band, and Miss Merman wants in. So it's a fake band?
Well, you know what? I think we got a case here because it's very interesting to me because in the 2004 Cole Porter biopic titled The Lovely, Gabriel is a character in the film played by Jonathan Pryce, and it's a framing device where Gabriel has produced an elaborate musical version of Porter's life to flash before his eyes before he dies.
They don't really get into the mechanics of your whole life flashing before your eyes enough.
Yeah, I
Like,
didn't
that must
realize
be a lot of work.
I didn't realize it had to be actually produced and written by some entity.
But in this case, Gabriel, and he's like top dog up there, so he gets like the big celebrity.
I mean, they can't just give you
vibes.
like a raw feed of your hard drive, of like everything that happened. They got to pick it out, like pick out the good
Curate
stuff.
it.
I mean, yeah, curate it.
I mean,
exactly.
yeah. I mean, I think if there are no other entries for Gabriel, maybe we don't put this in the database. But since there's probably plenty of Gabriel,
Yeah,
I think I'm willing to say put it on the extended CV.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of entries for Gabriel here. Look, so the angel Gabriel is a messenger of God. He's in the Jewish Tanakh. He's in the Christian Bible. He's in the Islamic Quran. He's got a three for man. He first appears in the book of the prophet Daniel in chapter 8, where it says, "And it came to pass when even I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning. Then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man, and I heard a man's voice between the banks of the Ulai, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision." Gabriel is not musical originally. He's just God's version of prophetic visions for dummies. He's trying to explain to Daniel what the hell he just saw.
I really wish King James had hired like an editor. So one day I was walking down the river and I heard this guy say, "Talk to me."
Yeah.
That's all you have to say.
Well, they got the new translations. You can go
yeah.
to. Anyway, so the popular interpretation of Gabriel is him blowing his horn to announce the resurrection of the dead at the end of time. But the Bible never specifies Gabriel as the trumpeter. So it's not canon. It's fanon, but it's not canon. It's like Dante's depiction of hell. It's so popular, it's accepted as canon.
When you say fanon, do you want to define that term?
Yeah, it's not canon from the creators, but the fans have come up with this theory, and it's so beloved by the fans that a lot of them just take it as established fact when it's not like actual established fact directly from the show.
Okay.
Okay.
And I guess theoretically, you can have fanon turn it into canon when, the creators like look at the fanon and go like, well, okay, we could do that.
It's like a guy who learned to talk on Reddit.
So
Amazing.
anyway, the popular interpretation of Gabriel, the first recorded instance we have of crediting Gabriel with the horn playing, doesn't even happen until the 12th century. So there's a hymn by Nerses IV the Gracious, who was a bishop of the Armenian church. And in his work, For Protection in the Night, he wrote, quote, "The sound of Gabriel's trumpet on the last night makes us worthy to hear and to stand on the right hand among the sheep with lanterns of inextinguishable light, to be like the 5 wise virgins, so that with the bridegroom in the bride chamber, we, his spiritual brides, may enter to glory."
So are the sheep holding the lanterns? I'm working on this this mental image is hard. Okay.
Translations are difficult.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. So Gabriel also plays the trumpet in the famous work of John Milton's Paradise Lost from 1667, where it goes, "Betwixt these rocky pillars Gabriel sat, chief of the angelic guards. He ended, and the sun gave signal high to the bright minister that watched. He blew his trumpet, heard an oreb, since perhaps when God descended, and perhaps once more to sound a general."
General Doom.
Yeah, he's the guy who fights the Fantastic Four, I think, in the new movie. Yeah.
I was thinking more like
Robert Downey Jr., yeah.
Like General Electric. Like General
Doom.
General
All right.
Motors.
So Gabriel obviously had tons and tons of appearances and all kinds of things. We got films, TV shows, literature, music, paintings, poems, statues, the legitimate theater, the illegitimate theater, you name it. We obviously don't have time for everything, but I rounded up a few highlights here. So there's a lot of Gabriel playing his trumpet in evangelical Christianity and notably in African-American spirituals. Here's a traditional one called Blow Your Trumpet Gabriel, here performed by the Statesman Quartet.
Gabriel, take up your horn and blow. Blow your trumpet, blow. Come, Gabriel, blow your horn. Let the whole world know it's time for judgment fall.
And I do want to apologize for that being the whitest group singing the most African-American spiritual. And I thought this was a fascinating bit here. In the 1969 TV movie called The Littlest Angel, Gabriel is played by none other than musician Cab Calloway.
Oh.
From the Blues Brothers he was in. And here he sings and actually leads an entire heavenly choir.
Welcome, little angel, we humbly offer prayer that you'll accept this golden key we've brought for you to wear. It's the key to all our hearts that opens wide the door to the glorious future you will lead forever.
It's kind of hilariously because the cast for the rest of this special is just kind of nuts. It's like this crazy Gen X smorgasbord. We got Herman Munster, Fred Gwynn playing another angel. We got Johnny Whitaker from Family Affair and Sigmund the Sea Monster playing the title character. E.G. Marshall plays God. There's James Coco. There's Connie Stevens. And there's even Tony Randall, who was in a bunch of fake bands in the classic 1970s TV series, The Odd Couple. There's another good example of Gabriel. Alan, you want to take this one?
Sure.
Well, I can take this one
Yeah,
because
you
I
can
wrote
take it.
this
Okay,
one.
yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Alan. Sorry.
No, I write some of these too, you know.
My
So
bad.
in a 1960 episode of The Twilight Zone named A Passage for Trumpet, we meet Joey Crown, who's played by the great Jack Klugman.
The other half of
Yeah.
the Odd Couple.
Nuts.
Couple. What are the
Holy
odds?
crap.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
No.
Oh,
You okay, Galen?
Galen is-
This is
Wow.
a video podcast.
It-
You'll
it-
be impressed with that acting.
Go on, Galen.
I was just going to say if Ron Glass shows up in one
Oh.
and DeMont Williams.
Put a pin in that.
Okay.
And I
Because
wish
it won't happen, but go ahead.
hyperlinks for
Okay, so Joey Crown is a down on his luck trumpet player in New York City. He's turned down by the manager of his old club, who, while appreciating Joey's ability, knows how unreliable he is because he's a drunk. He hit rock bottom, he hawks his trumpet, he gets drunk again, and then he steps into the path of a speeding truck.
Wow, you really raised the ante there. I was expecting just like the walk
Oops.
with like the signs, the
Oh, the
glowing
neon
like booze
sign.
Well,
sign.
this was
the other
a
side.
Twilight Zone
Those are
episode. He had
great.
like
Oh,
30
okay.
minutes, right?
Oh, okay, gotta get moving fast.
So when he comes to, he realizes that nobody can see him or hear him, and he assumes he's dead.
It's a
So
reasonable assumption.
he heads back to the nightclub, where he's surprised to meet another trumpet player who can not only see him, but recognizes him. This hepcat explains that Joey is in a kind of limbo. He offers Joey a choice to return to the living, while reminding him that You must take what you get, and you live with it. With that man's encouragement, Joey decides he wants to go back. But first, he asks for that man's name, and he says, "Call me Gabe," short for Gabriel.
Ooh.
Joey comes back, buys his trumpet, goes home. He gets the money for the trumpet that he hawked because the guy who hit him with the truck just shoves money in his hand and goes, "Hey, look, let's don't involve the cops. My record is, I'm a truck driver. My record's in here." So he gets the money, he buys it. He goes home to play, and the music brings over a girl that's attracted to Joey. And gosh, it's a wonderful life.
Oh, it is.
Because that's basically what this episode
Yeah,
is. It's
yeah.
a wonderful life.
So our next guy is Athanael, which is a trumpeter from the sort of obscure 1945 film called The Horn Blows at Midnight. And he's played by comedian Jack Benny, who was a very famous comedian at the time. And he turned the film's lack of success into a running joke on his popular radio show. That's fun. There was even a second version of this in a November 29th, 1953 episode of the TV anthology show Omnibus, where Jack Benny reprised the same role. So Athanael plays third trumpet for an orchestra on a midnight radio show of sleepy time music, sponsored by Paradise Coffee, the coffee that puts you to sleep. And he sucks at it. Here he is trying to play along.
I'm a little hummingbird.
Terrible horn. Anyway, when he falls asleep during the show and he dreams he's an angel playing in heaven's orchestra, and then he's sent to go play the trumpet that heralds the end of the world as detailed in Revelations chapter 8, which goes, "The first angel sounded his trumpet, and there came hail and fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled down on the earth, and the third of the earth was burned up, a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up." Way to go, Jack. Way to go. Nice job.
And the people saw this and said, "What the hell,
Yeah,
man?"
Jack, what are you doing with Jack Benny?
All the grass, but only 33% of
Only
everything
33% of it, yeah.
No,
Huh.
it says
Oh, no, all the grass, 30% of trees.
All the green grass, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
All the green grass.
but
Just the
fortunately,
green grass. So your yard is set.
Plenty of bluegrass
I have-
still
yeah, I
out
have
there.
all the brown grass is
bluegrass.
okay. It's gonna be okay.
No.
fescue blend.
All right. So fortunately, though, there's these two fallen angels, Osidro, played by Alan Joslin, and Doremus, played by John Alexander, who would like to continue their pleasantly hedonistic life on Earth, so they arrange for Athanael's trumpet to get stolen. So there's a lot of shenanigans. Athanael tracks the thieves to a rooftop, and during a struggle, he falls off the building, and then he wakes up from his dream. Athanael dreams he's an angel, but he's not really an angel.
This is kind of that, like, one of the Good Omens, isn't that like the kind of the shtick of that, so that they're trying to stop the end of the world, or
Right,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're enjoying their life on
Yeah,
Earth
yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's true. There's a good link. So next we have an actual angel for sure. We have the angel is the title of is the character's actual name referred to in the script and in the credits. It's from the 1954 film The Angel Who Pawned Her Harp.
A lot of pawning going on.
It is, yeah.
Gu-
Awful
guess-
It was the style of the time.
it was. All right, it's played by Diane Cilento.
That always tastes like soap to me.
Yeah. It does. Anyway, she's been sent from heaven down to London, England, and vaguely commanded to do good. Only heaven didn't give her any money, so she has to do the title thing to get the money to do anything with. So, but
Here's a
before,
fun fact. You don't need money to do good things.
No, you don't. Yeah.
You don't.
so before she hawks it, she actually plays it for the pawnbroker. Here she is. And actually, the pawnbroker is one of the people she's supposed to help. So she helps a lot of people find happiness. She goes back to heaven, and only she couldn't get her heart back out of Hawk, so now she's in trouble for that. The film was actually remade in 1959 in Germany as Der Engel, der seine Harfe versetzte, and the angel there was played by Nana Austin. Next.
Wow, Nana Austin.
Yeah, the Nana Austin. Amazing. So the next is one of my favorite ones because I actually went to the Los Angeles Museum of Radio and Television back when that still existed to actually watch this.
What
on
happened to LA?
site. Huh? Later.
Oh, no.
Later. With the Pope. It's the same thing. So this is called the Celestials. The Celestials are a quartet of literal actual angels from an episode of anthology television series ABC Stage 67 called On the Flip Side, which aired December 7th, 1966. And their job is to watch over the stars Only member Angie, who's played by real singer Joni Summers, is a big fan of fading pop star Carlos O'Connor, who's played by real singer Ricky Nelson. And so she kind of stretches their job description to include pop stars instead of giant flaming balls of gas. And the Celestials, we learn, actually helped out Sinatra in 1953, gave him his comeback there, and Enrico Caruso before that. Before they get in with Ricky Nelson's character, here they are singing Fender Mender.
We wanna hear ourselves on the radio, and we wanna see ourselves on the TV show, and we wanna make it big at the record house, and we wanna sell out fast at the record shops. Go, go, go! We wanna be the greatest group of all.
Anyway, Carlos's career is in trouble. Too old. I mean, he's 25 years old, for crying out loud.
Got 5 more years till Logan's Run.
Right.
Gotta keep working those references.
Yeah.
So, rock stars being too old at a young age, this was a popular fake band trope in the 60s, with the youth culture obsession and the turnover and all. And another trope that they had was that solo singers are out and bands are in. So Carlos needs to get a band. Toot sweet. So they become his backing band, and they actually managed to get Carlos fired from his big club gig. Nice job, everybody. But then they help him get a new gig, and they hype it up, and they get a bunch of music magazine reviewers to show up, and Vertigo Records head Don Prospect, played by Anthony Holland, so impressed with Carlos's new band sound, he signs him immediately, records him immediately, Rush releases the single immediately to the hottest DJs. Immediately! But you know how vampires don't show up in mirrors? Angels don't show up on magnetic tape, apparently. So when they recorded it, it seemed like the band was playing, but on the record, all you got is Carlos playing and singing. So, but it becomes a hit anyway! Woo! The Celestials go back to Big Pearly. Mission accomplished.
Good that they didn't do like a duet or anything. That would have been a little odd. Yeah. Don't go breaking my heart. Long pause.
Yeah.
Surprised they didn't listen to it before they released it.
No, they never do.
Just surprised.
No,
but I don't know
Don
much about the record
Prospect was in a
industry.
hurry, baby.
Yeah.
Had to
Gotta
be.
strike while the iron's hot. Anyway, so Joni Summers was a real singer, like I said, and she had a top 10 hit in the U.S. and Canada in 1962 with Johnny Get Angry, which is a kind of hilariously passive-aggressive song now. You should look that up. All right, our next angel is Teen Angel. Teen Angel appeared in the 1979 movie musical paying to 1950s A Grease. So real 1950s pop idol Frankie Avalon played this mystical teen angel in an elaborate dream sequence where he appears to troubled teen Frenchie, played by Dee Dee Conn, and he sings to her Beauty School Dropout, which wisely advises her to go back to high school.
Beauty school dropout, hanging around the corner store. Beauty school dropout, it's about time you knew the score. Well, they couldn't teach you anything. You think you're such a looker, but no customer would go to you unless she was a hooker.
So up next, we have not Tony Bennett. So in Monty Python's last film, the Monty Python's Meaning of Life, 1983, ends with all the people dying from the salmon moose.
Oh,
Yeah.
And they
dreadfully
go
embarrassed.
Huh? Yes.
I'm dreadfully embarrassed.
It's like all the people who died in the film show up at the
Yes.
end here in heaven.
So they show up and they do like the dance macabre with the demon with death that he like what leads them across the hills, and they end up in heaven, and then they serenaded this big Vegas show by Graham Chapman wearing, like, I guess now looking at what Tony Bennett looked at the time, it was a Tony Bennett wig, but it just looks this weird, like,
Yeah,
you know,
it
like
does.
T. Mike described it as a white guy afro, which is kind of like that. Yeah. So, but even though he looks like Tony Bennett and he kind of sounds like Tony Bennett, definitely acts like Tony Bennett, he is in fact not Tony Bennett. It says in the credits, he is credited to not Tony Bennett. So he sings Christmas in Heaven, which is a big Vegas-y showstopper with all the hot topless angels you could want. They're all in Santa suits. And
I'd like to put an addendum about these topless angels. Because if you pause and watch carefully, as I did as a 13-year-old boy, they're actually plastic
Yes.
titties,
Yes.
not actual breasts that are being shown.
It is
which
very
is
weird.
peculiar.
Yeah.
Like, why go through that effort and then have
maybe,
fake plastic breasts?
maybe for uniformity? I don't know.
You think that was a big deal? Uniformity.
They're worried about
They were
the
wearing
difference.
uniforms.
Yeah, they
all
were. Yeah,
there.
they were all kind of. I don't know. Maybe that's all I can.
Heaven
Would
has-
heaven have uniform breasts, or would
have
they all be
strict
delightfully
standards.
different?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. Okay.
Anyway, here's
We're
what it sounds
asking
like.
some deep
So
theological questions
I think
here.
this is a good. Maybe we should redo. Let's do the rest of the episode about that question.
Okay, yeah.
Is heaven uniform breasts, or every one of them different and special in their own beautiful way? Galen?
I don't think there's breasts in heaven.
Oh, that's a hot take.
Wow.
That's terrible.
Yes.
What a horrible thought.
Breasts are for hell.
I'm an ass
Jason.
man, too, and I still feel it.
There's no ass in
Oh
heaven.
my
Nothing.
God.
It's all like Barbie
I'm gonna
dolls,
go
man.
blaspheme.
Barbie and Ken dolls. Yikes.
This is what.
Wasn't there like a
What was the denomination that you were part of?
wasn't there like a Don Bluth movie in the 80s? All breasts go to heaven. I think I remember
think
vaguely seeing the movie theater.
Across the rainbow.
Yeah.
Of the earth.
Bring it back, everybody.
Anyway,
Bring
this
it
is what the
back.
song sounds like. Here we go.
It's Christmas in heaven. The snow falls from the sky. But it's nice and warm and everyone looks smart and wears a tie. It's Christmas in heaven. There's great films on TV. The sound of music twice an hour, and Jaws 1, 2, and 3.
Anyway, okay. T-Mac, over to you.
All right. Well, I got Harrison Winslow. He is a aspiring vocalist / ghost / guardian angel played by Charles Grodin in the 1993 fantasy comedy film Heart and Souls. So it turns out he and 3 other people all died in the same trolley bus accident for no good reason. And they become the guardian angels / imaginary friends of child Thomas Riley, played by Eric Lloyd. However, when Thomas's parents end up talking about having their child committed to an insane asylum for talking to invisible things, the spirits back off. They stop appearing to him. So the spirits eventually learn that they all have unfinished business on Earth, and that's why they're not in heaven and they can't go yet. The character of Harrison was an aspiring singer, but he couldn't conquer his stage fright. And the reason they're all connected to Thomas is because Thomas is supposed to help them all finish their business. Not on any voluntary part of Thomas's, though. They all decide to reappear when Thomas is an adult. Adult Thomas is played by Robert Downey Jr.
Ooh.
And at first, Thomas thinks he's having a psychotic break, as one does. And then the spirits eventually do convince him that they're real. But he says, screw you guys. I'm not helping you. You abandoned me as a kid. You made everyone think I'm crazy. And I
I
had
just
to have a
wanted
lot of
Pepsi.
therapy. All I wanted was a Pepsi. That's right. Naturally, of course, the spirits then take turns randomly taking over his body and driving it around like an Uber or something. They make him do wacky things until he agrees to help them all. Harrison's getting what he needs to get done is he possesses Thomas so he can sing the national anthem before a concert by real musician B.B. King playing himself, and B.B. King jumps in on the guitar here.
And the Rockies' red glare. The bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that a flag was still there.
I saw this movie a long time ago. I don't really remember this, but I've also seen a lot of shows. I don't remember a lot of national anthems starting off blues concert. Like that wasn't like the first
game?
song. Yeah, like is it a ball game or like
Kind of weird. I
Yeah.
agree.
And he threw out the first pitch at a gospel concert.
Nice. Anyway, after shenanigans, the business is all finished. The spirits are finally at peace. They all go to heaven, which is symbolized by the appearance of 4 new stars in the sky to the amazement of astronomers everywhere, I'm sure.
This is basically the plot of the CBS show Ghost.
I like that
anybody
show.
seen that? It's
I'm
a
a big
good
fan
show.
of
yeah.
that show.
Stroud's a big fan. Yeah.
Oh, great show.
Based on a UK show.
Yeah.
It's basically
Yeah.
ghosts only can be seen by one person. She's there to help them
Right.
Yeah.
get on to the next life, and ghosts.
We actually
Exactly.
talked about some fake bands from that show, didn't we?
We
one
talked
of the main
about
characters is
Yeah.
a singer.
Yeah.
Let me talk about Ruby Diamond here. It's 1996, and Dolly Parton is an angel in our eyes already. But could she be an angel for real?
Mhm.
No, of course not. She's wonderful, but she's human.
It's the breasts, isn't it?
You guys today. However, in the TV Christmas movie Unlikely Angel, we get to see Dolly try to earn her wings and become an actual angel.
Oh.
Dolly plays a straight-talking country singer named Ruby Diamond, because I guess there were already singers named Jade Sapphire and Pearl Amethyst.
Those are also good names.
Anyway, she's coming back from a bar and she crashes her car and dies. So she goes up to meet St. Peter. St. Peter says to Ruby, she can return to Earth now to reunite an estranged suburban family torn apart after the mother dies, which seems like a weird offer to be given like right away.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like the afterwards are kind of like the gig economy. Like you're constantly trying to pick up stuff. It's like
It's like Angie's List.
yeah, seriously,
For
like
eternity.
or handy.com or whatever. Yeah,
Whatever
it's
the
like
hell it is.
All right, so if she succeeds by midnight Christmas Eve, she'll be granted her wings as an angel.
Oh, man, she's on a timer, too.
And if she doesn't, I mean, I guess she goes to hell or something. I mean, we don't have to worry about that part because she chooses to earn the wings. She goes down to the family. She tries to Mrs. Doubtfire this by becoming the housekeeper and nanny for this daughter and son, and notices the family just ignores each other and aren't that fond of Ruby either yet. They just go off to their own rooms. This is even before everybody had cell phones and everything, before the whole screen culture. And
God, it was so much harder back then.
yeah, you go back to your room and he's just like, what am I going to do? Look at a book or something?
Yeah.
So that's how much they despised each other. They'd rather read than talk to each other. Hilarity ensues, and yet still so poignant. And Ruby fights this noble battle in the house. She fights this battle on random club stages. She fights this battle in our own jaded hearts. And she starts to develop feelings for Dad. But St. Pete's like, no, that's not your job. That's against the rules. Get the family back together as a family. So
What's his stake in this? Why does he give a shit?
I don't know, but she just seems like such a, what's the term I'm looking for? Unlikely angel?
Oh.
Like the phoenix from the ash and dirt, I rose up from the pain and hurt. When I was at my very worst, I found you. Thought I could never love again. When a spark of light came beaming in, a thread of hope for me to spin around you. Unlikely angel, standing there in front of me, as if you were my destiny, like we were always meant to be together.
Oh, that's the name.
Anyway, it's Christmas Eve, and the son runs away.
Oh, man.
And St. Peter's like, look, check your watch. Time's almost up.
Who runs away on Christmas Eve? That's bad planning on that kid's part.
She's like, I don't care if I get wings or even go to heaven. I'm fixing this family. And so the son dies in a drug overdose behind a Cracker Barrel.
Whoa, what?
And then the daughter shoots Dad, then herself in a weird suicide pact.
Hey, wait a minute.
And Ruby burns alive and finds herself in hell forever.
Wow. I
that's
doubt
a good
this.
one.
As if
Early A24 movie.
this is the start of the Hallmark movie generation, right? So of course she's successful. The family's together. St. Peter's like, says, leave, but she's like, no, I don't want to. I want to be here. But she does. She gets her wings, and the family celebrates Christmas together. The end.
Aw.
And here's a fun fake band fact here. Gary Sandy was in the movie. He plays Andy Travis.
Nice.
WKRP in
Oh.
Cincinnati.
Very cool.
Crap.
Nice.
Another job.
Good job. Good job. Good job. All right. Another music-related job. All right. So next we have The Love God. So this is from the...
making another run.
Love God. Yeah, okay. So this is from the Love God episode of animated Disney Channel TV series Gravity Falls of November 26, 2014. And the Woodstick Festival has come to Gravity Falls, Oregon.
And I, for one, want to celebrate our Oregonian overlords.
That's right. This is for you, Oregon. So the Love God is one of the many, many acts in this music festival, and he can actually make people fall in love supernaturally. The main character Mabel is trying to play matchmaker with her friends, so she talks to him to learn his secrets. And it turns out he is a supernatural creature. But the big question for our show here is he an actual god, as the title implies, or is he instead an angel of some kind? And so here's a clip where he actually says, "Call me a cherub."
Hi, Love God, Mabel here, big fan. Can I just say, that was some of the finest matchmaking I've ever seen. Can you please tell me your secret?
Well, between you and me, let's just say my name's not exactly a coincidence.
Oh, my Love God. Are you an actual Love God?
Call me a cherub.
Okay, so I hope you like that clip because we're not going to get to hear him perform. He doesn't do anything, so that's the only clip we have. Anyway, I think he's solidly a cherub. He says he is, and his powers aren't even inherent. He has to use potions to make humans fall in or out of love. So I think that adds evidence he's not like a god of love. He's not like Cupid, the god of love, but he's like a cherub. Like maybe he started off as a god of love and he's been demoted to cherub since Christianity took over. I don't know. He says, as he says, quote, the internet.
Does he say this?
Yes. I'm channeling some Bible here. He says, the internet pretty much does my job for me nowadays, so I'm taking time to focus on my rock career. And he actually has a demo cassette tape Deck Dreams. And he seems to be a big fan of cassette culture. He's got like a tattoo of like a cassette on his arm. So the show animator Sabrina Cotugno based this over-the-top character on the show's actual creative director, Mike Rianda. And the Love God was voiced by John DiMaggio, who was also voiced Bender on Futurama, who was also a fictional.
Bender Bending Rodriguez.
There you go.
Can I make an unrelated movie
I'll allow
suggestion?
Always.
Go ahead.
Don Knotts in The Love God.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, another good movie, yeah.
Very fun.
I thought he was in The Love Guru. Is that what you're thinking? No, that's Mike Myers. Mike
The other
Myers.
guy.
Although Don Knotts would have made that movie so much different.
Was he a fish in that one?
No,
He was a love god.
That was
was
the
the-
Amazing Mr. Limpet.
The incredible Mr. Limpet. Yeah,
Incredible Mr. Limpet.
Yes,
And I'm
yes.
pretty sure he worked for a pornography company.
yeah, he was
technically.
The fish?
No, Don Knotts.
Don Knotts.
Oh.
In real
Don
life.
Knotts was an actor.
In
No,
this
in the movie.
Oh.
The pornography company comes to him and turns him into the love god, giving advice.
Yeah, it's like a big image thing.
Don't turn away from the mic,
that's nice.
Galen.
Oh, that's right. I
Galen, how long have you been in the business?
can't. Media?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Turns away from the mic, talking to T Mike. He can hear you. He's got headphones on.
I have to look at someone when I talk to him.
Jason's right there. Jason's
Hey,
6
man,
inches
you
away
can
from
stop
you.
And he's got his
I'm not
laptop.
talking to him.
Jason's got his laptop and it's full of pornography right in front of you. How can you look away?
All right. Here's
Like the
another
Amazing Mr.
version
Limpet.
of the Angel Gabriel. There's a series of Japanese romantic light novels from the 2010s called Date Alive by Koshi Tachibana. And in this series, there's some spatial quakes that's destroying the Earth. And it turns out these quakes were caused by spirits from different dimensions who all take the shape of cute girls.
Japanese, you say?
And oh, by the way, only one guy seems to be able to seal the spirit's powers and stop them from being a threat. His name is Shido Itsuka, and he's a high school kid, and he can do it by making the spirits fall in love with him and make them kiss him. I'll let you guess who the market for these novels are. So there's one spirit named Miku Azayoi. She was a very popular idol singer by the name of Tsukino Yomachi, but then false scandals led her to lose her voice and consider suicide. But before that happened, she got turned into a spirit. She regained her powers, became Miku Lily, and started creating havoc.
Wait, this person has 3 names?
She has 2 stage names.
2 stage names. Wow.
Oh, man.
She has her real name, and then she had her original stage name, and then when she got these new powers, new stage name.
Okay.
Miku
Anyway.
played
It's all about image, man.
guitar.
The spirits have spiritual weapons they refer to as angels. And I guess you could make an argument that angels are a spiritual weapon already. I guess
Yeah,
they're part
sure.
of God's
Okay,
army,
all right,
whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, Miku has the angel Gabriel, which takes the form of an organ that can control sound. And Gabriel plays certain songs that can make targets march or get brainwashed, much like this.
ここの昼下がり潮風を受けて輝いた笑顔見つけてからなぜか見えるものすってキラキラであったの中のあなたでいないです What a destiny これが噂のひらめかれ
Are those the only 2 options? Marching.
I think there are other songs.
Oh,
There are
okay,
other versions. I'm giving you just a few examples.
Just checking.
None of you got brainwashed, though, by listening to that.
No, I
right?
don't
Did you?
think so.
Okay,
I
good.
did
Not any worse
get
than normal.
brainwashed.
All right. So I believe that fits. the,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I think
I
I'll
go
allow
with
it.
that. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I think I have an act here that is the perfect segue from the angel section, the devil section of the Night Show, because it features both. So this is from the March 7th, 1980 episode of The Muppet Show. Good old Muppet Show. The angels and the devil sing You're No Good. And it turns out that the main angel used to date the devil, and they end up getting back together. Here's a clip.
You're no good, you're no good, baby, you're no good.
Oh, it's you, you little devil.
Yeah, it's me, I'm back, Angel, baby.
Hey, where have you been all this time?
You know, hanging out with the guys. Did you miss me?
Miss you? I was lonely as heck.
Then all is forgiven, honey child, honey lamb, honey baby, honey pie.
I thought it was interesting is that, so they used that song because Linda Ronstadt had a #1 hit with that song in 1975. But what I didn't realize is that her version is a cover. And the song was actually written by famous songwriting duo Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller all the way back in
Again? Do they only write for fake bands?
Yeah, Jailhouse Rock. They got their fingers all over Elvis's stuff, all kinds of stuff. So I was all the way back in 1963.
They got their fingers all over Elvis's stuff.
Yeah, that came out so wrong. So very wrong. I'm sorry, everybody.
They're all peanut buttery now.
So it was first recorded by Dee Warwick, but it was Betty Everett who had chart success with it. In 1963, it went up to number 51 on the charts. The Swinging Blue Jeans had a #3 hit version in the UK in 1964. Then we got Linda Ronstadt in 75 and the Muppets in 1980. So the other fun thing about this episode in particular is that this is the same episode that had actor Alan Arkin murdering a bunch of rabbits. That's right. Back in our rabbit episode, he killed a dozen
Who's
or more.
bringing it up now?
Yeah, he killed a dozen or more of the Bun Bun brothers.
So this episode, wow, that's jam-packed.
It is, yeah.
All right.
And D.D. Warwick, any relation to
Dion?
I don't know.
Did you not look it up?
No, I did not.
And therefore, Whitney Houston?
What are you
6
getting
degrees of separation.
Is this some sort of conspiracy theory you're
I'm
coming
just
up with?
getting at this is a bit of knowledge
She
I
was,
know. And I just
yeah,
wanted to
she's
put
the
it out there.
Dionne Warwick's sister. She's the niece
wow.
of Sissy Houston, first cousin of Whitney Houston and Leontine Price.
Wow. And Whitney Houston played Rachel Marin in The Bodyguard.
So another fake band.
Another fake band connection.
Wow.
Well, all
6
right.
degrees of separation, people.
And a fake bodyguard.
Yes.
If anyone's doing that podcast.
She wasn't the fake bodyguard.
No, you'd have to
That
go
was
with
Kevin
someone else.
But there
Kevin
was a
Costner.
fake
Yeah,
bodyguard
it's Kevin
in there.
Costner.
I think it was Kevin Kline. He was the
There was
film-
also one in
Anyway, that's
almost every movie.
I believe that's in the fictional.
Come on, you can name another fake bodyguard.
I was trying to, and then I got stuck. You know what bodyguard movie popped into my head?
My
it was
Bodyguard.
Some 80, yeah, the one with
Yeah,
that
My
80s
Bodyguard, yeah, he
where
hired-
a guy's got motorcycle, gets thrown into a lake.
Yeah.
That's okay, but I couldn't remember.
Come
It was just called My
My
Bodyguard.
Bodyguard. Yeah.
All right, well, there's that one.
Okay.
There we go. That's 2.
That's all we need. I just
All
need
right.
one
That's all
more
we need, yeah.
example.
Go
Okay,
start your
you
own
got it.
podcast.
All right. So we had the angel section here, but as the most famous cruiser, Eddie.
Oh, wait, there was one in Veep.
That's secret.
As the most famous cruiser, Eddie once sang, Eddie the Cruiser, fake band. He went here,
Oh, yeah.
Ain't nothing gonna save you from love that's blind. Slip through the dark side and cross that line. That's what we're gonna do right now. Demon bands after the break. This is the Rocklopedia Fakebandica. Okay, we're back. We've done the happy, love angel bands. So now we dip our toes into the darkest depths of madness to talk about the most wretched, evil, demon bands we could find. Now, we should mention that we already named one of them in our Halloween episode.
That's right, yeah.
The Black Roses, which is probably the most famous one of all time. Just because I talked about it. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's what everybody goes
right.
with.
And that was actually demons?
They were demons.
Yeah, they were actually
Okay.
band.
I didn't really listen to that show, so.
None of you did. All right, so why don't we just jump right in and start talking
Yeah.
about the different demon?
I think we got to start with the big guy himself. You know, he's
Adam Sandler.
all in red, always watching, like slaying and hose. Yep. It's the anagram lover's favorite bad guy. Thank you, church lady. Yes. So yeah, there's a long tradition of people getting talent from the devil and like making deals with the devil. And supposedly Niccolo Paganini, who might have had actually Marfan syndrome because he had very long fingers and he could play really intricately on the violin. He also was very cadaverous and tall and had like kind of angular features. And so people, like a lot of the depictions of Satan after him drew
look like
upon his look, which is really weird. Yeah.
Didn't
So
Abraham Lincoln have Marfans too, supposedly?
I believe so. Yeah. He might have had it too. So So there also was the composer Philippe Moussard. And actually, I was interesting, along with Robert Johnson, who was the more famous one, there actually was a guy before him, Tommy Johnson, who also was a blues guitarist. And he supposedly, and he actually was the first one to claim that he'd gone to the crossroads and sold his soul to the devil.
Wow.
And he actually lived longer than Robert Johnson, but he never really made it big. So kind of interesting little thing.
So it didn't work.
He should have gotten his soul back, man.
So yeah,
he became the best guitarist, but once he became the best, he didn't have to prove anything.
It's a fair
He just went back to work. I'm better than all of you guys.
So also, I thought it's kind of funny. There's also Infernus, who's the guitarist for the metal band Gorgoroth, which formed in 1992. And his story, and he actually tells people in the media and interviews that he sold his soul to the devil. But it's kind of nice that this tradition is still going on. It's like 1992. You don't really think of someone selling their soul to the devil then. And of course, this is like a trope in a lot of movies. There's American Satan and Deathgasm, which are two like fairly recent horror movies. It's about bands selling their souls for the devil and stuff like that.
Remember, 92, there was a pretty big recession going on.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
It kind of makes sense.
I didn't realize the story of the crossroads also ends up being sort of like a wicked genie sort of story where the devil does grant, yes, you are the greatest guitarist in the world, but I'm not going to solve racism.
Yeah, exactly. It's all that kind of thing. Yeah, so
Kind of
I got that
monkey's
kind of
paw.
problem. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but we're not going to talk about times when like the devil was essentially like a talent agent. We're talking about him actually as a performer. So, and we're going to go chronologically, and we might as well start with like his debut. His a lot of times like the first appearance. You gotta love like the first Clash album, like probably their best. Public Image Limited's first one. That's probably their best, and just like that, like this Bible is probably his
Bible.
Bible. It's a Bible, yeah. In the King James Bible's translation of Ezekiel 28:13, some people have interpreted that as being that Satan was a musician before the fall. And so it's like, the quote is, "The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created." Since then, other people have translated it, and it doesn't actually have music in there at all. But you'll see, if you look online, there's a lot of people who still say that, like, supposedly, Lucifer was a musician up in heaven.
Tabret?
Tabret, it's some kind of instrument. Like, I think it's like a drum of some kind, I believe. So
it's a small drum.
Yeah,
it's like a clue horn.
Oh, okay.
That they play.
Sack butt? Is it like a sack
It's
butt?
like a clue horn that they play. It's Chalman Spaceport Cantina. If you were in Vagrant Dan and the Mogul Notes, playing this song.
Thank you, Charles. I couldn't figure out what
it had to happen.
Good, I'm glad.
We had company. We had to play that song.
Yeah, so later on in the late 16th century, like religious leaders started to refer to like the violin, which was then fairly new, as the devil's instrument because it got played at dances and parties and places where people were having fun. And Christianity was going through like a real like no fun kind of zone period of its it's like a development. So
Thank God they got out of that period.
Yeah. I just looked online. There's Sadia Records, which is a classical label, has a fun history of the idea of the devil's instrument that includes a great quote from diarist Anthony Wood. And in 1658, he talks about seeing this famous violinist, Thomas Baltzar, play in Oxford. And after the show, a music professor, quote, did, after his humorsome way, stoop down to Baltzar's feet to see whether he had a hoof on. That is to say, to see whether he was a devil or not, because he acted beyond the parts of man. So, yeah.
Oh.
Dang, man. People just cannot appreciate a good musician without attributing it to Satan. What the hell?
So then in the 1740s, Giuseppe Tartini wrote the Violin Sonata in G minor, which is better known as the Devil's Trill Sonata, and it sounds like this. Yeah, so for those of you who have not ever played violin, that's incredibly hard to do. Yeah, so it's like notoriously difficult to play. And it was supposedly inspired by a dream that Tartini had about the devil coming to him and playing an instrument. So he offered to be his servant, and he picked up the instrument and started playing, and he could rock like that. So, which kind of sets us up for a slightly more recent and probably more familiar one, 1979's Charlie Daniels Band song, "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." In that case, Satan is playing a mean fiddle in a contest against Johnny.
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind and he was willing to make a deal.
Fantastic.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
a
a good
great,
song.
I'm not a big Charlie Daniels fan, but it is a great tune.
Did the devil specifically go to Georgia to find Johnny? Specifically,
No, he was looking for some souls to steal.
He just happened to find this.
As the song
Johnny
makes
walks
clear-
up, yeah.
As the song makes clear, he's way behind, you know, and he's
way
willing to
behind.
make a deal.
Who-
Yeah.
Who's his boss though? Who is he behind too?
I
Hey,
think he's involved in some kind of like
You can
MLM.
still be the CEO of
Yeah.
a company and
You gotta
still
hustle,
you got
yeah.
your numbers.
That's
you got
true.
your
Maybe the devil's
stockholders.
his own boss.
Yeah.
I think he just figured Georgia was just full of easy targets.
You got to respect the diabolical hustle.
Yeah.
The song went to #1 on the Billboard Country chart, and it actually peaked at #3 on the Billboard Hot 100. So it was actually a crossover hit.
Pop
So
crossover.
there was tons of covers of it, and there actually was a sequel to it in 1993 by Mark O'Connor that had Johnny Cash on it. It's titled "The Devil Comes Back to Georgia."
It's interesting. It's kind of funny because that same episode of The Muppet Show that had the angels and a devil in it from the angels part, it also had a performance of The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
What?
Yes. With
How long was this episode?
Seriously.
Right?
And the 3 major parts that we've talked about here.
Very bandrific for us. And it had the same devil character that they used in that Angels and Devil skit because I guess they wanted to get their money's worth out of this devil puppet.
Jim Henson's not made out of felt.
That's right, man.
In
He could
1992,
shred.
he could shred. And speaking of shredding, in 1992, the devil actually switched instruments. He switched over to guitar for a couple sketches on The Kids in the Hall. And once again, it was all in the same season. Maybe they had to they were trying to save on makeup. And so they just figured that. So Mark McKinney played this version of Old Scratch, and he challenges the teenage guitarist Bobby, which is Bruce McCullough, to a guitar duel in one sketch. And then he kind of cheats by sprouting extra arms to play a double neck guitar.
I decided to start with the holy trinity of rock.
He can kind of throw down, yeah.
That's the only way to play a double
Yeah.
neck guitar, man. Come on.
And then in another sketch, he's trying to get this really cool jacket because it's for his stage performance, and he's starting a band called the Noodles, and old Bad Company, early T-Rex, stuff like that, So, and then a couple years later, in 1999, on Saturday Night Live, Garth Brooks, who was riding high on all the Chris Gaines furor, you guys remember Chris Gaines mania? Chris
We're going to be
Gaines,
talking
yeah.
about Chris Gaines
Oh,
here at
yeah.
some point. We have to.
Yeah, we
all
gotta
those
talk
crowds
about
of
that.
young
Didn't get
women.
this tattoo for no reason.
Yeah. Just women like just
Gainsburgers, bitches.
Yeah, fainting, crying, screaming, running around, yelling, "Please stop this! Nobody wants Garth Brooks to go pop. Please, please stop!" And the crowds of screaming women. It was a time. So he was both the host and the musical guest. He was musical guest as Chris Gaines, and he was the host as Garth Brooks. But in this sketch, he plays Milo Jenkins, who's unemployed, and he's trying to be a famous musician. And his girlfriend just left him. His life is in shambles. And so he decides he's going to sell his soul to write a hit song. And that gets the attention of a certain horn, red, guitar singing madman. So he grants a request. He gives Milo this hit songs he craves. But there's one problem. The devil sucks as a songwriter. So listen.
There's a guy named Fred and he's got a pair of slacks. Ooh, Fred's got slacks. Really quite short, but they're a little tight in the waist. Ooh, Fred's got slacks on the boulevard. Hold on a second. I think it's out of tune.
Oh, that is a classic, though. That's a classic jam.
Slacks, man.
Yeah,
slacks.
Fred's got slacks.
Everybody loves slacks.
So
right?
Milo rejects it. He also rejects Mondays. I Hate Mondays, which is actually my favorite. It's like kind of a high-pitched song. Zorgas, Borgas, and Fast Car on the Highway, Mr. Robotron. So, and then he gets really bad when like the devil's like ripping off Smash Mouth, and then he starts beatboxing and like rapping, and yeah. So they end up having to cancel the deal. As a side note on the whole Garth Brooks thing, we mentioned we will have to talk about Chris Gaines, but this was actually the only time that Garth Brooks ever got into the Billboard Top 40 on the pop charts.
Really?
He would never let his albums go to pop stations, so he was never counted. And so this was the first time he got into the Billboard Top 40. So maybe there was some deviltry happening because he got like the number 5 with a Chris Gaines song.
Chris Gaines got to number 5.
Yeah, I know. I had no idea.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't it
Not
nuts?
as a fake musician, though, does he?
Huh? He does. He was kind of a fake musician. I mean, he had a whole
Chris
backstory.
Gaines is totally fake, yeah.
He was actually more fake than like Ziggy Stardust. I mean, he had like kind of they presented him as an entirely new artist. So
we will make this case to you in an episode that's in the future.
Okay.
he was the Richard Bachman.
I guarantee this. Okay, well, let me talk about Lucifer Morningstar. From the 2016 Fox show Lucifer, it was canceled after 3 seasons for not being popular and then scooped up by Netflix and became one of the biggest hits for the streaming service. Tom Ellis plays Lucifer, the Prince of Darkness, the leader of hell, till he decides to leave the underworld and run the hottest nightclub in Los Angeles. Oh, and he doesn't just run the club, he plays there too.
For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way.
Anyway, he also goes to therapy. He solves crimes with the LAPD, falls in love.
Yeah.
Oh, that crazy devil.
This is like 3 shows in one.
Have you seen this show?
No.
It's fantastic. Tom Ellis is amazing. He's a great singer, and he makes you want to root for the devil.
Huh.
He's just so charming and everything. And then he has his brother, Amenadiel, come down, and he kind of lost his powers at some point. And then there's a whole fight with all these other angels because I think God just decides to leave, and they need to fill in that void. Or
Oh,
something.
wow.
There's a lot going on. And there's a lot of fake bands in there, too.
Oh, wow.
We have a list, so we'll get to that in
Yeah.
probably another
Yeah.
Probably don't have time for this show. But it's probably, you can see why a deal with this devil might be hard to pass up.
I guess this was a little bit before then. This was 1999, but at the time, that was like Marilyn Manson's like the heyday of his career and everything. And so the Teen Titans writers introduced a Marilyn Manson kind of parody ripoff guy in the Theater of Blood story in the May 99 issue of the Titans comic book. So this was like the next era of the Teen Titans. So they were still teens, but they changed the title. So
They never became the 20s Titan.
20-something Titans,
20-something
30-something
now.
Titans, yeah. So this was like the superhero group with like Nightwing and Starfire and Raven and
Beast Boy.
Beast Boy. And the thing is that the trick was he wasn't just like some everyday schmo wearing corpse paint and eyeliner. He was an actual demon wearing corpse paint and eyeliner. And his real name was Goth. So I guess that was
But
too
they
on
changed-
brand.
But so they changed it to
The Limbo. Yeah. Goth seems like, I guess it was too on brand. I don't know. So his deal was that he seduced youth into Dis, like kind of like, which was kind of a version of hell, but it was like,
Oh, yeah.
DC Comics has other hells and other demons, whatever. So, but this was like his special little
So
area.
these kids got dissed.
And they got dissed, yeah.
Oh.
So
Well, in the Dante version of hell, that's like a city in hell.
he used whatever like fad was wrong with teenagers nowadays. So like his previous personas included grunge and rave. So he was
Hammer
earlier
pants.
Yeah.
The hammer pants.
Earlier eras, he would have been like bebop or swing or impressionism, baroque. So I guess now he'd be like TikTok would probably be his name now. So anyway, he like then switched to becoming a movie actor,
Wait,
and then
what?
yeah,
The demon dropped his music career
and then
going
became a
to
movie. He
acting.
popped up a few more times, and then he ended up just dying kind of off page. They found his smoking dead body in like a 2007 issue of the Justice Society of America, and I guess they were like, we're just done with him. So
That's why you shouldn't smoke.
Underwhelming, but not. They can't say that about our next entry, who was one of my favorite ones in this. It's Beelzebub, aka the Robot Devil. So he's the singing, dancing, fiddling robot that is a major antagonist in several episodes of Futurama, and he actually is the ruler of an actual factual robot hell that is underneath an amusement park in, of all places, New Jersey.
Well, it's hell. Of course.
And these actual, apparently some literal-minded people, possibly robots, I guess, but I don't know, may have been actually even humans too. They built an actual physical functioning robot hell, and they staffed it with a robot demon devil who
What
has
was the robot religion called?
Robotology.
Robotology.
Yeah, Robotology. Yeah,
It's like a resistor thing.
Yeah, they had like a resistor sign. Yeah, so in The Hell is Other Robots is when they introduced Robotology. That was May 16, 1999. Bender actually gets sent to Robot Hell because he backslides into sin. He was addicted to electricity, and he had converted to Robotology, and then he backslid, and so then he was dragged off to hell. And one of his punishments was to listen to the Robot Devil's drum, piano, and sax band.
We know all your sins, Bender, and for each one, we've prepared an agonizing and ironic punishment. Gentlemen?
Ah, crap, singing. Mind if I smoke?
Cigars are evil, you won't miss them. We'll find ways to simulate that smell. What a sorry fella, rolled up and smoked like a panatella here on level 1 of Robot Hell.
Which is a great song. I love that song.
It's a great song.
And one of the best things is that the guests for that episode were the Beastie Boys, and so they show up, but as with every celebrity, they are just heads in jars. Fry and Leela rescue him, and the way they do it is they challenge the Robot Devil to a fiddle contest.
That's a good old tradition.
Classic, yeah. And it's under the terms of the Fairness and Hell Act of 2275. So,
of course.
Yeah. And so if they win, they get Bender back, and they actually win the solid gold fiddle. And if they lose, they only get a smaller silver fiddle. And that the Robot Devil's like, and I'll kill one of you, him, so... The Beelzebub plays a mean fiddle, and he actually does the same move as in The Kids in the Hall. Extra hands come out to play extra things. But he's no match for Leela's ability to smash the gold fiddle over his head and knock him, and then they escape. So there's another musical encounter with him in The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings, which was from 2003. And that was actually one of their many series finales. So it was like they were constantly always on the edge of getting canceled. So they would
always keep doing finales.
Yeah, so it's great finale, but what it was, so Fry, who's a human, he cuts a deal with the Robot Devil to swap hands with him so that he can master the holophoner, which is a notoriously difficult musical / visual instrument. So Fry becomes a big star, and then the Robot Devil gets sick of Fry's gross human hands. He's always like, they're always touching me in places. So then he has a convoluted scheme to get his robot hands back from Fry, and that ends Fry's musical career. And he does have his hands, but one of the great things is throughout the rest of the show, they mentioned that he's still trying to get the stink of candy corn out of his hands, like after Fry using them. So he appeared a few more times. There's not really anything musical. Every now and then he'll be with his band, but there's not really anything musical. But there is actually there's kind of a fun fake band connection. He's voiced by Dan Castellaneta, who also voices Homer Simpson.
Hey! Hey!
So yeah, there's Homer there, and
that name's familiar. Why would I know Homer Simpson?
He's a big deal. So Castellaneta actually said that he based Beelzebub's voice on Hans Conried, who was a longtime character actor who's best known to most people as the voice of Captain Hook. But he's best known to T-Mike as Dr. Terwilliger from
The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T, an insane movie based on a script by Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss, yeah.
And you really got to see it to believe it. It's
very odd movie, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the weird things, as a side note, is the guy who recorded the piano parts for Conried in the movie, Ray Turner, actually has another fake band connection. He recorded Sparky's Magic Piano, which was about a kid with a piano that comes to life and
can
plays
play
it,
itself,
can
yeah.
play itself. So it's all like an eternal golden braid. Everything comes together. It's just,
Circle of
circle
fake
of
bands.
yes.
There's a kid named Sparky.
There's a kid named
Yes.
Spark. Yeah. So I believe our last demon will be one. Actually, probably the most recent one is Borosica Mayday, which is from Has Been Hotel. And so this will be brief because we're probably going to need a full episode on this because there's tons of bands in it because it's a
Okay.
musical show.
Oh.
It actually is like. Have you guys heard of this show?
Never.
I have heard of it, yes.
Yeah,
The
it's-
internet loves it, apparently.
Well, yeah, Reddit is convinced that I will like it.
Mhm.
And so like I mainly only use it for researching, maybe because I've been researching fake bands on this stuff, but like it's constantly like showing me things from the Has Been Hotel subreddit. And I was in there and it's so confusing because it's like Tumblr, kind of like this weird, like people dealing with their identity issues. And then there's all this stuff
And
about
it's
this
a pop
animated
culture.
show. But yeah. So.
Is this Reddit or the show that you're
The
talking
show,
about?
the Reddit. I think I don't know what the show. I haven't watched the show yet,
Okay.
really. So yeah, but this is actually so it's basically an animated musical comedy about hell, and so the story is that hell has gotten overpopulated, so they have to periodically. Heaven sends down angels to like just exterminate people, and I guess that you're dead then. Yeah,
Oh, wow,
yeah.
you're doubly dead.
The Princess of Hell, Charlie Morningstar, who was played by Erica Henningsen, who was in, if you guys have seen the new 4 seasons that Tina Fey did.
It just came out. Yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet.
So she's the young woman in there. So, but she sets up a Has Been Hotel. So it's like a halfway house. So she can rehabilitate sinners so they can actually go to heaven, which I guess apparently has prioritized housing over like spurting gouts of flame and like skin removal and all that kind of stuff like that. So this is why voting in off-year elections matters, you know? I mean, heaven prioritizes like housing. I think I think there's a lot of bike lanes in heaven too.
You know, that's very similar to Lucifer Morningstar back in the show Lucifer.
Oh, yeah?
Where he did all this, he would go to therapy a lot.
Uh-huh.
And then at the very end, when he goes back to run hell, he is actually a therapist who's
Oh,
working
that's
with
good.
people in hell and trying to fix their problems so that they can leave.
Okay, that's kind of fun. So the show
Maybe it's a
anyway-
Morningstar thing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So the show premiered as a YouTube short in 2019, and then it was picked up by Amazon Prime, and then it has developed this like very rabid fan base. I mean, if you look at the Has Been Hotel wiki entries, you would be forgiven for thinking that each episode was like 180 minutes long, and it had like 900 episodes. I mean, it is like massive. Just walls of text about incredible details about all these characters. So,
I
yeah.
believe you, Alan.
It is nuts. I mean, I believe I'm assuming all this stuff is fanon then, or it might be canon to go back to that. So anyway, there's a lot of fun characters and there's good acting and there's good voice acting. It actually has songs from the show have appeared on Billboard's Bubbling Under Hot 100, which is like I guess 101 through 200 chart, you know, and then it's also been, they've charted in the Canadian, UK, and New Zealand top 100. So, yeah. Borosica from Hell of a Boss, which is a spin-off, and it's about
Otto's
this.
mentioned that.
Oh, okay. It's about this like low-ranking imp demon who starts an assassination business, you know, as one does. You know, so, yeah. So she's this succubus with like pink skin, and she's a pop star both in the hell world and in the real world. So she can disguise herself as human, and she's a pop star here. And so in
pop star / assassin.
Well, no, she's not involved with the assassin thing. She's just like a character that involved like it's part of the main guy's backstory. Like she's an ex-girlfriend. Yeah. So in the January 31, 2021 episode Spring Broken, we hear a snippet of her thoughtful and emotionally deep song, Vacay to Bone Town. A little hard to hear but yeah. So anyway,
Pound Town,
huh?
Is it similar to Pound Town?
I think it's in the same zip code. Yeah, so it's like there.
Same congressional district.
Beautiful area.
Yeah. So,
Beautiful area.
Yeah, it is lovely. So Christina V does both her spoken and singing voice, and so yeah, so it's an interesting. She has several little performances in there, but she's definitely like a fun demon one in there. So
cool.
Okay, well now we're going to try something a little different here. Our next band is the Green Angels from a comic book. And while the Rocklopedia Fakebandica definitely includes bands from comic books, this comic book we're going to discuss next is particularly unusual. The Jack Chick Christian tract called Angels from 1989, and it's a doozy.
Yes. So Jack Chick. So you guys remember seeing Jack Chick's? Usually at like barbecue restaurants. I used to always see it.
You
Yeah.
see that,
Gas station bathrooms, I would always find.
Yeah,
it.
gas stations.
It's like rest stops or on picnic tables.
The exhibit hall at religious conventions that I would end up at with my dad.
Oh, yeah.
the preacher.
There would be
Yeah.
a table full of these and the actual big comics that he.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he had like some book,
Oh, he
like
did,
kind of
yeah.
bigger ones. Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
graphic novels.
Yeah.
Sometimes your John would give you one wrapped up in 100, you know, because he was hoping you'd get out of that.
Yeah. So they were very big in the latter part of what Team Ice kids would call the 1900s. Yes. So yes.
Thanks, kids.
So I was looking him up, and actually I was saying to the guys that I was actually surprised is that first off, his name is really Jack Chick. Like that wasn't
Not a
a
stage
pseudonym.
name.
Like
Okay.
that sounds like such a rock and roll name. I kind of figured it's like made up. It's like he would be like I could see him like in a glam rock band, and like the Sweet or something like that. But anyway, he's from Boyle Heights in East LA. Weirdly, he actually worked for the Pasadena Playhouse, which I actually did some work for too. I was like,
Whoa.
wow, it's very weird, very different time
You
period.
and Jack
but-
Chick, huh?
I worked
You
with
and Jack
I worked
Chick.
in
And
the
now you put out religious comic book tracks.
I don't know. Anyway, so starting in the 60s, he started putting these things out. They're like 2 3/4 inch by 5 inches comic books. They started calling them Chick Tract, and that was like kind of they would advertise churches, and you could order them, and they would it was like these 20 some pages each, and there's these black and white kind of morality tales, and they're very lurid and just kind of, and they're always about like bad people getting theirs after they refuse to listen. They always meet like one good person,
Mm-hmm.
and they usually tell them something, and the good person's speech is like littered with asterisks, and then there's like at the bottom there's like the little Bible verse that it's actually referring
Right.
to.
Tons of footnotes.
Yeah, but the bad people always refuse to repent, and so they end up bad things happen. So it's like they're like essentially the cartoon versions of those Hallelujah houses that like Baptist churches used to put on,
set
like
haunted
like
houses at Halloween. Right?
yeah, like to like the logic is very similar to J. Walter Weatherman from Arrested Development. It's like, that's why you always leave a note. It's like, that's why you have to worship Jesus. And there always was like a prayer, and it was like kind of custom made that referred to the happenings in the topic of the tract. And then there was like a little place for the local church to put their branding on. And
there's like a blank space on the back. You can just stamp it.
Yeah. So he started actually with general, just kind of like, just general proselytizing before he like moved on to his real bread and butter, which was these crazy hateful things about everyone who didn't agree with his incredibly narrow viewpoint of how the Bible worked. I mean, it was like, and also these nutty conspiracy theories. And so
He had
like
a very odd flavor of evangelical Christianity he did.
Like as a kid growing up like nominally Catholic in the South, I actually was gifted. I was given things, or like most like 90% of the time it was a joke, but like sometimes like actually seriously like these like tracks, like things like, are Catholics Christian? The spoiler alert, the answer was no. And then why is Mary crying? But my favorite was always the death cookie. So it's about like the Eucharist. And so,
oh my God.
But he had like anti-Semitic ones, like the deceptively named Love the Jewish People, which is eye-opening. I'll tell you, that was like pretty shocking.
Yeah.
He had anti-Islamic ones like Camels in the Tent, which is very subtle. Yes. He had anti-Hindu
He's working
ones.
on many levels there.
Yeah,
isn't he?
yeah. He had one called the Traitor, which was anti-Hindu. He had anti-Buddhist one called the Tycoon. And he had an anti-Wicca one like called the Poor Little Witch. And it was like
he's
this.
really covering all the bases.
Pretty much,
here.
yeah. Well, he also had like anti-gay ones
Of
like
course.
Doomtown and Sin City, not the Frank Miller
No, not
like
that
graphic novel one. So he had anti-evolution ones like Big Daddy.
That one feels like it should have been one of the gay ones.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Well, what's weird is that Big Daddy also apparently like has this little bit where it also dismisses the existence of the strong nuclear force.
Oh yeah, Jesus hated the strong nuclear force.
So I saw this mentioned in Wikipedia. I pulled it up, and like they're not wrong. It's like,
wow,
what? Like,
but they're okay with the other ones. The weak,
I guess the
nuclear
weak
force,
gravity and
electromagnetism.
yeah, I guess so. So yeah, so I mean, I didn't know that was a stance that the church. I mean, Galen, you would know better, but was that something you remember preaching on, or
This thing was so extreme that, to put it in perspective, when I was reading one of them, he lost me very early on because he went after Bewitched.
yeah, the TV show about witches. Oh, yeah, he hated that show.
And it was like this panel of people watching it going, oh, we finally got them where we want them.
Oh, yeah.
They're watching Bewitched.
Yeah, he was really
And I just
crazy.
went, I'm out.
So if that
Yeah.
was too much for you, keeping the context here, growing up, Galen, as I recall, you were not allowed to have dice in your Monopoly game.
No, we could have dice in the Monopoly games. My mom wasn't crazy about dice.
Oh, okay.
We couldn't play cards, or like regular suited cards, but had other kind of card games. But my mom did ask us one time, I don't understand why you can't play that with a spinner.
How is a spinner any different?
And I said, well, you can't get doubles, Mom.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
true. Two spinners.
2 spinners, yeah.
Yes, you can get
But why is a spinner different? If it's still chance.
All right.
I mean, a spinner is kind of integral to Twister, which seems like it's a really kind of a troublesome.
We
Well,
didn't
weren't
have
there
Twister in our
dice
house.
at the crucifixion? Was there?
There was.
Yeah.
So I think that's why dice is.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
And there
they
were no
didn't have
spinners?
spinners. They didn't
Wait,
have
I
spinners.
thought at the
there.
crucifixion they had that little bubble top thing like in Trouble. Were the Roman soldiers playing that? Sorry.
So all games should be like Candyland, where you just take the card and it has the color space you move.
Yeah.
To. Okay.
I just think it's very reflective. My mom was born in 1930. She grew up in the 30s and the early 40s. The world was a weird place back then.
Yeah, it's so normal
Damn,
now.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's
It was
great.
weird for us because my mom didn't like pinball, and I never understood it until I found out the history of pinball. And I went,
Oh, yeah.
they were gambling devices.
Yeah.
back then, so.
Jack Chick also, like, I guess, sticking with the dice thing, didn't like D&D either, didn't like rock music,
right.
didn't like TV. Yeah, so.
Anti-hockey, I think, probably.
God.
And everyone, if I remember correctly, everyone in the Jack Chick thing, they would say, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Way
A lot
before
of
The
laughing.
Simpsons. Way
Yeah,
before The
so.
Simpsons did it.
All right, so the track we're talking about today is Angels.
Question
It's
mark.
Currently out of print, but if you buy 10,000 of them, they will print them for you.
Ooh.
Or you can get them in French. They have a big stockpile of French ones if you need that.
How much does 1,000 chick tracks run you? 10,000.
10,000. I tried to do the math. I think it was roughly like $50,000.
Oh, really?
No, that's
So
no.
I think we could, maybe crowdsource this, print them up, distribute them, promote our podcast.
You tell me they're $5 a piece?
No, that
No,
can't be.
no. You
way.
get it. No, it's like I
I feel like I got a guy who can get you these for $800.
You said 10,000 in the tracks for $50,000.
all right,
right?
I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's.
I'm wrong. I didn't do the math right because math is hard.
Yeah, tracks.
I was better in English.
The tracks are 22 cents each.
Oh, okay. So $22,000.
$5 for a pack of 25. So that's, yeah.
Oh,
If my memory serves, the churches would just take their little rubber stamp and stamp the back
Yeah.
with their address on it. We could just make a fake Bandica.
We are not giving out Jack Chick tracks.
but
Hear me out.
Okay. We're trying something new here. We're going to act out this entry, a dramatic reading, this whole entirety of this tract. But I want to stress that every word comes directly from the text, and we have made no edits or changes. We have to stress this is the views of Jack Chick and his ministries, and this does not reflect the views of us or the Rocklopedia Fakebandica. This is just meant to be a funny performance of a religious tract that we normally wouldn't be able to present. And there's no music for comic books usually. There's no audio for comic. We're an audio podcast. We do fake bands here, not ministries. So remember that. You're going to hear some weird things. It's not us. We're just merely actors, okay?
That's
I
right.
want to stress that.
It's all Jack Chick, baby.
If you reach salvation or damnation through this podcast, please contact your primary physician.
Okay. All right. So this is the Rocklopedia Fakebandica, not ready for podcast players. Our rendition of Angels.
Exterior local church night. The Green Angels, a Christian rock band, is leaving the gig at a small church. The band seems unhappy as they load up their instruments into the van.
who's Jim? Who's Jim?
I thought I was Tom, right?
I'm Bobby.
No,
I'm
Charles is Tom. You're
okay,
Jim.
I'm Jim. All right.
Jim. Jesus. This is a good start.
Maybe T. Mike was right. We should
This is the absolute best way it can
Alex,
start.
started off again.
Exterior local church night. The Green Angels, a Christian rock band, is leaving the gig at a small church. The band seems unhappy as they load up their instruments into the van.
We were supposed to get $500 for this gig, and that cheap pastor only gave us $200.
We've been had again. Where are all those blessings?
I'm sick of no money. I can't even pay my rent.
The band drives down a dark road.
I'm starved. Let's go eat.
How come that preacher stopped us on our rock music? We were putting Jesus in it just like all the other rock groups who play in churches.
He was just another old fanatic. Hey, pull over. Let's get some burgers.
Exterior diner. A few minutes later, a voyeur watches the band eating inside the diner.
There are Christian rock groups that are hot. They're really getting down, man.
Look at us. We're a bunch of losers.
There's got to be a way to make it big.
There is, you little jerk, but it's got to be my way.
Did you guys hear something?
Cipher joins the lads in the diner.
Are you guys the Angels? I saw your van out there. I heard you tonight. You were pretty good. But if you could let go and flow, you guys could really hit the charts.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling him, man.
Yeah, but that preacher was so old-fashioned, he washed us out.
My name's Cipher. How about coming to my place tonight? I'd like to hear you really get down. I'll give you $500 a piece to play for me.
Wow. But first, let's see the bread.
Here it is. Let's go.
Where have you been all our lives, Mr. Cipher?
Interior Cipher's penthouse. Later, the band walks around the place.
Man, look at the view of the city. This guy Cipher is really loaded.
Do you have an agent?
No, we couldn't even afford one.
I'm available. Are you guys really Christians? Like in solid?
Not really solid. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah, I know. Would you die for your beliefs?
No, I don't think any of us would go that far.
Well, if you go with me as your agents, I can make you number one. But I'm not playing games. It's going to be done my way. I'll make you rich and famous. You can have anything you want. Groupies, booze, drugs, money, the best of everything. No more sleazy motels. You'll go first class worldwide.
There's got to be a catch to this.
Yeah, but whatever it is, it'll be worth it.
Just to sign this contract. Each of you, and the world is yours. But there's only one catch.
What is it?
I want all of you to sign in your own blood.
That's really gross.
Now, who cares? Shut up, Bobby. Sign.
Yes, just trust me and sign on the bottom line. Do it.
They sign.
Now you're mine. Lock, stock, and souls. My first name is Lewis. You can call me Lou if you like.
Souls.
So, okay,
Far
Lou.
out, man.
I'm going to lay it all out. You're going to serve me. I'm going to show you the big game plan and where you fit into it. You must understand, I play it low-key. I'm so far in the background that almost no one believes I exist, and I like it that way. But my organization actually controls the world system. Music is my masterpiece. I control billions of souls with my music, and this is how it's coming down. My servants run this worldwide organization. It's called Killer Rock.
Cipher shows the band a chart that reads soft rock, hard rock, and heavy rock.
So, in the 50s and 60s, I started gradually introducing my new beat into some of the crooners. Okay, first it was nice and soft. Then I gave them Elvis and the Beatles, etc. And out of this came the Flower Children, the Protesters, and a near revolution. It was beautiful, and my music foretold it all, just like today. In the 70s, I gave the world Kiss, Black Sabbath, Motley Crue, etc. My music pushes murder, drugs, free sex, suicide, to destroy country, home, education, and man, is it doing it. Next, I started invading and distorting country, classical, soul, and Christian music. Who do you think started Christian rock? I did. Now I have hooked the adults, young people, and children. Everybody loves it because it all sounds the same. You might as well know that I have my wolves in churches, and you will be part of my pack.
But we're Christians.
Don't give me that. You're no more Christian than my demons. You're bought and paid for. I'll tell you what to do, so shut up and listen. Since the pastors don't have the guts to keep the music out of their churches, I moved in. Their cop-out was that as long as it's in the church, it's okay, because God will bless it. Hey, but which God? I already blessed it. Let's move on. My heavy metal has turned millions into rockaholics. They become zombies. The music removes love and ushers in lawlessness worldwide. Most young people won't fight for their countries, but they'll die for their rock and roll gods. We in the occult control it all. Starting from my church to the throne in Rome, spreading down to into the voodoo of the islands. I've got souls of the whole world dancing to my beat.
2 months later, interior arena night. The band looks out at the massive crowd. They turn to Lou.
Mr. Cipher, this is the biggest crowd we've ever played to. I hope we can pull it off.
The audience is yours because I blessed you. Knock 'em dead.
Introducing the Green Angels, Let's give him a big New York welcome.
Those stupid little jerks have no idea what I've got planned for them.
We're gonna rock with the rock. We're gonna rock with the rock. Yeah!
After the gig,
Lou was right. The world is ours. Girls are throwing themselves at us. This is living, man. We got it made.
requests for concerts are pouring in. The biggest distributor wants to sign you guys up. 2 years later,
You can't marry each other. You'll destroy the image of the Green Angels.
but we're in love.
Face it, Lou. I'm famous now. I'm bigger than you are. So shut up.
Then I'll give you a little wedding present. Some AIDS.
3 months later,
Hey, Don, have you seen Bobby? He's skin and bones. He looks like death.
Oh, he's got AIDS. Big deal. We'll replace him.
But he used to be your best friend.
So who needs friends?
after a concert, I love them. The band sees the fans, says, "Look at that mob." Stand back, please. Dear Lord, let me reach at least one of them. Earnest Girl bumps into Tom and pushes a Jack Chick tract into his jacket pocket. Jesus loves you, Tom.
Huh?
Out of the way, kid. Later, during the concert,
Embrace me, love of death. Embrace me, love of death.
suddenly collapsing onto the stage,
Oh, my heart. I can't breathe. Somebody help.
Hey, what's wrong with Jim?
1 week later,
It's all over. Everything's ashes. Bobby died of AIDS. Jim OD'd. Don is into vampirism.
Tom finds the tract.
Hey, what's this little book doing in my pocket?
He reads the book, the contract.
I'm scared. Let's see what it says. Oh, God, I've been a fool. Please save me.
Stop that! What do you think you're doing? Remember, you're mine!
Not anymore, Lucifer. I've submitted myself to God, and I'm resisting you in the power Jesus gave me. I just found that when I made Jesus my Lord and my Savior, the blood he shed on the cross canceled your contract.
Tom! No!
The Lord rebuke thee, Satan! Get thee hence in Jesus' name!
Much later, Tom is at the pulpit, preaching to a full sanctuary.
I learned the hard way that rock music, even much Christian rock, is a powerful demonic force controlled by Satan. To have the strength to resist it, you must 1. Die to self by crucifying your old flesh. 2. Burn anything you have associated with rock music. Then you'll be set free.
Thank God Tom read that little tract I gave him.
And scene. Well done. Wow, that was fantastic.
Wow.
All right, well, we've had the highs of heavens and the lows of hell, and now this host is going to kick everyone out and watch Angels and Demons in peace. I'm Charles. There's Alan.
Peace be with you.
There's T. Mike.
So long.
Thank you to Jason Torchinsky and Galen Black for joining us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
And this has been the Rocklopedia Fakebandica. Thanks for listening. You've been listening to the Rocklopedia Fakebandica, a production of the Van Gogh Sketch Comedy Group. The hosts are Alan Benson, T. Mike Childs, and Charles Rempel. Our editors are Alan Benson and Charles Rempel. Please be sure to subscribe to the Rocklopedia on your service of choice so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear from you, so leave a review or email us at fakefans@vgg.com. And don't forget to visit fakefans.com and the mothership, vgg.com. Thanks for listening.